Hey everybody, it's David Schroeder, head of revenue for Newrez. And look, we're starting a new series here. It's called Newrez Voices. And the purpose of it is that, and the impetus really is that I get excited every day being a part of the Newrez team because we have such a diverse set of businesses, of team members, of partners. And the thought is, hey, we should introduce you, our audience, to some of just the amazing personalities across Newrez, both to get to know who we are as a company, what we stand for, but also to learn something new about how you might improve your business or better partner with Newrez. So to that end, today I'm really excited to have our inaugural interview with Phana Par, who's one of our superstars on the retail side. Had the opportunity to work with Phana a lot and have many conversations, broad ranging, about how she's building her business and her family and just all the innovation that she brings to that business. And so, Phana, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, David. I truly am honored to be a part of this. It's great. It's exciting. I can't wait to see, the outcome of this series and just learning from everyone. So, thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate you very much. What a wonderful introduction you have there for me. Hopefully, it's all
Well,
true.
it is. It is all true. And let's let our audience get to know you a little bit, Fan. If you could start from the beginning, I mean, everybody's got their own origin story in the mortgage business, and I always love hearing that. So, how did you get involved in the mortgage business, and what led you to Newrez?
I was born to do this, Dave. No, we all don't, we don't get to choose the 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 road to mortgages. I graduated from college and I was supposed to be going to pre-med, medical school. The purpose behind that was just, growing up, traveling through from Vietnam to Cambodia to Thailand to the Philippines, then to the US. And the goal at that time, as I was coming here at the age of 9, 10, I was like, when I grow up, when I make it out there, what I want to do is to help others, especially children. And I said, you know what? I want to become a doctor. That was my goal. But of course, as we go through, the process, I just looked at it and I was like, you know what? I don't think that that's for me. I love helping others. I love, problem solve. But at the same time, with all the stuff that's going on in the medical field, how you have to work with the insurance company, you can't really spend that much time with your patient. I was like, no, that can't be. But I always love math. I love problem solving, but the connection is just that I really want to help others. Now, others in achieving their goals, achieving their health, but I didn't go into the health portion, but the finances just intrigued me just because it's something about math, something about finances just click. And then I was introduced to this mortgage industry, and it is not easy at all. There were days when I was crying and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. How do I learn how to do all of this stuff? But it's, that passion in the beginning as I was growing up, telling myself, "You can't give up. There's always someone out there that needs your help. You can't give up. You can help this family." So, that's where I started with my mortgage, and what lead me to Newrez is, I've always been someone who's, I like stability. I want my client, my business partner to know that I have a stable business so that they can always follow me. Um, it took me a very long time to decide to leave one company just to come over to Newrez, but the purpose of that was it took me 2 years actually to decide to just say, okay, I need, they always tell me the grass isn't greener on the other side. And oh boy, it is so not true. The grass is definitely greener on this side. I've been here going on 7 years. I don't like to move. The last company I was with, we were changing the way we do business, going from a direct lender broker to an MSA or a joint venture. I was running a joint venture. And then for 12 years, I was with the same group of people. And then when I came here, I was like, you know what? the next company I'm going to be with, I just want to be there for the sake of my client because, I want to make sure that my client know that wherever I go, they can always follow me, but it also means a lot to me to just be with the same company and being able to have access to everything. And Newrez, I have access to everything. I have access to you. I have access to Amy. I have access to our servicing. Everything is at the tip of my fingers. So I am so glad, I'm so blessed to find a company that I can say that I can be here for a very long time. And my clients are happy. I wished I made this decision a long time ago and let's just operations. Our operations is amazing. Hands down, we have the secret sauce with our operation. I mean, everyone can say, you have direct contact with your underwriter. Your underwriter is almost like your BFF. They'll
Yeah.
tell you, hey, this isn't going to work, but this is how I would look at it, and we work it out. And I we have amazing underwriters here. Our processing is amazing. Our funding, the way how we fund our loan, it is ridiculously the industry secret where we issue loan docs and we just go, okay, this particular loan has to fund today. We issue the loan docs. We request a wire. Who does that? The borrower haven't even signed loan docs yet, right? So here we are. We're having the buyer over at escrow, the borrowers at escrow waiting for loan docs to arrive. Loan docs arrive. Escrow prepared all the closing package and the wire is already there. Who does that? And
Yeah.
nobody knows that, right? So our operation is amazing. And
And I think that's, if I could just say, I think everything you said, I could not agree with more. And I think operations, everyone would agree, is so critical to our success from a sales perspective, but the customer experience and how they feel about us. It's so important. And everything you said is true about ops. And the other thing I was add is the leadership of our operations team are so invested with us every day. Like you say, I know that if I send a note, I will get a response. And thankfully, I don't have to do that very often. But if I did, I know they would because they care as much as we do
oh, they
about having a great outcome.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It is crazy. And I say operation is the best in the industry. In the beginning of my journey to Newrez, I invited our ops team, from way up there who came down here to San Diego, and I invited them to dinner in San Diego. And as we're sitting there, all of them popped up, their laptop is on. They're just working away. And they're like, Fana, do you mind if we work while we're talking to you? And I said, as long as you're working on my loan, I'm okay. But they all work. You can find them online just getting things done. So now who does that? And you have
Right.
their cell phone too. So operation is, I have to say, it is the backbone of my business as well.
Yeah.
I can't say anymore. Our system, it is crazy. I know H2O, I was like, wow, this thing actually communicate with each other. I didn't have to go from, this screen to this screen. Operations and sales are on the same page. So H2O, it's like
Right.
dummy proof, right? So
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So we have our system. I just can't say enough. And
And I feel like, Fana, just to jump on that for folks listening in, H2O, it's something that it's proprietary to us, to our New Res family, and it's been basically a work in progress for, gosh, 15 to 20 years. And I only bring that up because it's our DNA. It works to our process. So it really does kind of fit hand in glove. It's not something that we tried to pull off a shelf and make ourselves conform to. It is a system that is built for our loan officers, our operations team, to deliver an amazing experience, both in the communication, like you say, but also the efficiency and the workflow. It really is something special. I hear that all the time.
It is crazy, and if you take that away, I would be crying again, going back to the old days. But,
Yeah,
our operation's amazing, I can't say enough. The other thing that I completely is in love with Newrez is the flexibility when it comes to marketing. We talk about how versatile my business is, and I am, like, all over the place doing different things all the time. So our marketing department and our flexibility with marketing is just amazing, and I love, love, love that. The other thing that I really like too is bless Amy because she does leave me alone. She allowed me to run my branch the way I want to run my branch. So I have all the flexibility of everything that is out there. I was just talking, thinking, and I said, I can't imagine myself being anywhere else other this actually on Sunday. I can't imagine myself being anywhere else that give me that flexibility to run my branch based on how I want my branch to be run. I take care of all of my P&Ls, I take care of all the stuff. You tell me what you want and I will execute on it, right?
that's right.
So you don't get that. Other
Yeah.
places I would be, hey, Fana, that's not the case. But I really, really am running my business the way I want to run my business. And that's how
Yeah.
Newrez function. And other than all the other systems that we have, like our servicing, retention, all of that stuff, our FSC, oh gosh, it's like a dream come true for any originator, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
So I
I
love
love that. And I think you're so right that, the resources, whether it be marketing or compliance, all these things are around us to provide us guidance and help us to do the right thing. But they also then enable us to kind of blossom, for lack of a better word, and be ourselves to our customers, which is what they want. And to really, like you say, build a unique business that would probably look very different than the Dave Schroeder group, but each having kind of their own power because it's really fueled by the genuine person of who they are. So yeah, I love that. And that's who we want to continue to be as we grow Newrez, is to continue to build great tools and let great people like yourself fully realize the potential that they bring to a given market. So I think it's so true. What you're saying resonates in the sense that Newrez does bring all of those things that allows you to really fully express yourself and all your talents. Like you said, I mean, whether it's helping people or your acumen for numbers, and event planning and marketing and a ton of things we're going to talk about today. But like you say, it feels like Newrez takes care of all the things so that then you can really work on building your business versus fighting through maybe some of the weeds and whatnot that other folks might have to. So speaking of bringing your full person to work, one of the things that had been shared with me is your vacation that you took with your family, and you referenced this in your backstory of coming through Vietnam and Cambodia. And last year you went to Cambodia and had shared kind of how you shared that culture with your children. And so I'm curious, like, how does that help inform your whole self as you come to work and how you kind of deliver that within your communities?
I when before we have our two kids, my husband and I would always take a trip back to our roots. And it's important for us when we didn't have our kids to really take a look and dial back to just see in America, we have everything here. I mean, we are just blessed to be in a country that gives us so much opportunity. And for us to always continue to go back there is giving back to the community that we came from and just remain humble. Just be grounded and say, you know what, you are blessed. Go back there and see it's doing a lot better. But at the same time, there are uh, areas in Cambodia that need so much. So when my husband and I didn't have our kids, we would always go there. We always go to the orphanage first before we get to really relax and enjoy. So for us, it's just giving back and just helping others and going back to what I really was looking for when I was growing up, when I was traveling, is to help others. And now that when we have our two kids, now as parents, we don't want our kids to experience what we experience, but then that experience basically um, make us who we are. So I don't wish anything bad upon my children or anything. We want the best of everything for our kids, but at the same time, our kids aren't experiencing that in the US. They basically, digital everything, their iPad, the availability is at the tip of their fingers. So we wanted to take them back to just see, like, this is what you have here in the US, and this is what children are experiencing around or across the world. So I want you to be able to just consider, just imagine yourself being in that situation. What would you do? So I always reminded them, when mom and dad aren't going to be here anymore, how are you going to handle all of these situations?
That's right. And look, I mean, there's two things that I just think are so powerful there. I mean, one, the gratitude, like you say, and we talk about that so much as a team, of just being grateful, and living in that moment for all that we have, whether it's in this nation or with this company or with our families. That's such an important way to start a day, being, just a healthy mindset of gratitude. And the other is humility. You kind of come at it from different ways, but even for myself, I tell people all the time that really the worst moment of my career in the moment was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it humbled me. It made me a better person. And I'm glad it happened early in my career, and you had it at different times of your life. But I think humility makes us all just better servants, to our, whether it's to our customers or our team members or whatever. So it's really, really powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
My
Um,
pleasure.
you know, and look, you're talking about your family, and I know that's a big part of the Phana Par Group. So how, you think about family and how that comes into work. What's your view on work-life balance, and how do you achieve it, or how do you think about it, with everything that you're doing? Because I know you're one of the hardest working people I've been around.
I think that success doesn't come easy. You have to go through all the failures and everything. And everyone, you always want to think positive, but you have to accept the failure and learn from it. And I failed so many times, but I learned from it. But as far as work-life balance, I do not believe in our work-life balance. We do believe in work-life integration. So when it comes to our family, going back to the last question that you asked me, how do we, our trip to Cambodia, what was the purpose of it? And the work that we do every day here, what's the purpose of it? The purpose isn't really, having all of this lavish events or anything. The purpose is really to teach our kids and to understand that work, things doesn't come to you easily. Seize that opportunity. The clients and the business partners that we have and that come over to our event, to our, home, they are the reason why we have what we have. So be very grateful towards them, and make sure that every single time you see them, you thank them for everything that you have here. So our kids understand that very well. And the other purpose too is we want to make sure that they know how to communicate. They know how to socialize, right? Because oftentimes we're living in a digital world where kids, they're just focused on their iPad or their iPhone or whatever it is that they're using. But when they're out there communicating, or when they're out there with adults or kids their age, they're not really communicating anymore. So for my children, I really wanted to make sure that I bring that back and have them, learn from different aspects. So when it comes to work, work doesn't really end. When our client called us in the middle of the night, or like at 9, 10 o'clock at night, they didn't call us just to say hi. There's something going on that you want to make sure that you take care. So, when I hear my colleagues or friends that are in this industry that says, "Hey, my phone gets shut off at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock because I'm going to be with family," I respect that. That's okay. But for me, it's a little bit different because, my clients or my business call me late at night because there is a reason. There's an emergency out there. They reach out to me for a purpose. So I want to make sure that I am there for them. And they do understand too that I have family, I have kids, and if I can't pick up at that instant, I will call them back and I would say, can I help you with something? How can I help you? So,
Right.
and my kids understand that as well. They know that when mommy or daddy are out in the evening or taking phone calls, it's because our clients are calling us and this is the reason why they have a roof over their head, they have food on the table. So that's one of the things that we really wanted to make sure that our kids understand. They understand the value of relationship. They understand the value of hard work and dedication and so work-life balance, I don't know, but we do integrate our family life and our work life together. So our kids help us at events, they help us at pitch sessions, open houses, everything. So they're there.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, and that's what I'm so happy that you talked about, and I happen to agree with you on just the alignment versus balance, and like you say, everybody's got to make their own choice, and that's fine. But like I kind of like having my kids involved in what I'm doing, whether it's hearing conference calls. I used to travel around my son for AAU basketball, and he would be able to listen in on conference calls and ask me questions about it afterwards. It was a way for him to understand what I'm doing during the day and at some level understand what he's interested in and how he might serve in the future. So I think that's really powerful. And I do want to say, I haven't met your children, but I did get to meet some other kids at our President's Club recently. And I was so impressed. I'm thinking of one in particular, how they looked me in the eye and shook my hand with a firm hand. And I made the same comment to his father or their father. Just about how great that is because it is like you say. I mean, it's a lost art in a lot of ways and something that we have to keep sharing with our kids of how to connect on a really real and genuine way with people because it all starts there. So
Absolutely. We can't expect school to teach that. It's something that is ingrained in us as we're growing, we're raising our children. So I always tell my kids, I said, eye contact is super important. Heads up, chest high, tight, firm handshake. And if you hear my kids talking, they know what I'm talking about when it comes to credit score, bond market, debt to income ratio. So
these
it's
are the
it's
life
it
skills we're talking about.
yes, yes, absolutely. And when people ask me, are they going to do mortgages? And I said, absolutely not, but they know what
They
finances
could.
is
That's
important.
right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a good segue because, as much as we recognize some of the downside of social media and facing a computer kind of thing, that is a reality of business and life right now and how people connect. And so, you and I several months ago had a conversation just about how both of us are always evolving and trying to figure out where the puck is going on video and social media. And so, I was super impressed by the fact that you are still learning and trying new things, studying what your partners are doing on social media. So, give me an update. It's been a couple months since we've talked about it. What are you doing on social media? What's working and what are you trying in 2025?
With social media, I am always, yes, I am absolutely a student of social media. Um, It's free advertising, that's for sure. But social media, for one thing, is we do pose our business side and our personal side. I'm a real person. Like I like to post about work, but my husband likes to post about personal stuff because then they go, we need to see who you are. Like take for example, this weekend I didn't really post a lot about what I was doing, but I was this whole entire week I was at 5 different open houses. I was helping out and we both were working. But then it was his birthday yesterday and we didn't even post anything that was about him. So it's one of those where you have to kind of again, going back to the integration, right? How do you do all of this stuff? I was at my builder open house yesterday. It was his birthday, and then he was at my part business partners open houses helping out. And then you have the birthday, and then you have the kids golf tournament. So it's a lot of moving parts, and I guess, that is part of being an adult, right? But social media does help us, and I always try to stay engaged with my partners and my clients too. Like, I know that that little small time that I have, I'll just go and check. I don't often check LinkedIn, but I definitely check my Facebook or my Instagram. I will try to get into TikTok for sure. But it's a great way of just telling the world, and I'm more into the educational approach on all of this. A lot of the things that I experience and encounter through these open houses and meeting clients is like oftentimes they'll call an 800 number, and they'll get a quote for what their monthly payment is, but they don't understand what those monthly payment looks like or what's going on in the market. So for me, the education really is one of the things that I want to focus on, because I'm more about the relationship versus call and transactional. I'm not transactional at all. It's the relationship. It's guiding them through this entire home buying process, creating wealth, generation wealth, time after time.
Yeah. You know, and it's one of those things, the axiom of people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think you're right that there is a real need for good education, for approachable education that people can actually understand in plain terms. And at the same time, what I always love, or one of the things I always love about your social media is just you can feel how much you care about clients, like when it shows you coming to their new home with balloons and things like that. I mean, it just
Oh yeah, we
you
did
can
two
feel it
this
through the
past
screen that you're,
weekend.
yeah, I love it. I mean, it's so, it feels so real. It doesn't feel staged, and you just know it's the real you coming through. So it is awesome, and I think it's something for everybody on social media, and we're encouraging more people to step out and show their real self. We have so many great people here at Newrez, and you're amongst the real vanguard of that, of kind of stepping out on social media. So with that said, and one of the places where you've been, there again, some great stuff on social media is all the events that you do, and how you use that to connect with people. So maybe you can share with everybody kind of your strategy on how you choose to events, how you do events, how you set them up, and the results of how you really get a return on that investment.
With the events, there's so many goals behind that events, and one of which is, again, going back to the work, family, life integration. It's all about, okay, my purpose is to make sure that my children can become, a very good citizen one day, right? When I'm not here, they're going to contribute to society. And that's part of that learning process. And the purpose of that event is all about the connection and the relationship. For my business partners, this is, it does cost a lot to put events together, and it takes a lot of time. And this is an opportunity for my business partners to really connect with their client. And, what better way to do it than come to Fana's event? We will see each other, we will celebrate there. So it's a really great way of my business partners calling their client up, inviting them to our event. And for me, it's the one time where, actually, we have a few events a year, but it's the one time where I can go, okay, there's only one of Fana, but then there's a lot of clients that are out there. I can't go to everyone's house and shoot this video, right? So we have a lot of fun, and I just go, just come over, and it's a great way for me to see them, whether it's once a year or twice a year. The other thing too, with our client, I really am a true believer of transparency. Your client knows that you know about their finances. They know that you've seen their credit, their income, their house, what they're buying, and so forth. So for me, transparency is important. And I just go, you know what, you guys, you are invited to my home. This isn't done at a venue or anything. They come to my home. I'm comfortable having my clients coming into my home. It's not like I have anything to hide. This is what I do, and this is why you are important to me. And again, going back to gratitude, we all have very little time to spend out there. I always thank them for their time. They take the time to come out to our event, whether they're from, 200 miles away, they would still drive down to our home and just to spend time with us. And that's very important for us. I mean, I would dedicate 2, 3 weeks or even a month planning this thing just to make sure that they are comfortable, they know who we are, and that we are here, we are going to be in business, and that we want a relationship with them. Now, if certain clients, I mean, when they move out of state, unfortunately, if they're willing to fly back here, we continue to send those invitation out there. We just want to make sure that they are important to us, and they have a huge impact in our family life. So we wanted just to make sure that we are very grateful for everything that they've done for us. And the event also, now, as far as the return on our investment, we looked at it and we looked at it over and over, and we say, okay, how much are we putting into these events and what are we getting out of it? I think, monetary wise, I don't really look at it, but I look at it from a relationship aspect. And that's also one of the reasons why I am still in business today versus going out of business. And I continue to get the referrals, not only from my business partners, and oftentimes my business partners are my client. 90% of them are my clients. So, referrals from my business partners, referrals from my past clients, or them themselves are repeat clients. So when it comes to refinancing, there are, or getting a second loan to do debt consolidation or home improvement, they know who to call. And if I say, what, I don't recommend that for you, they'll go, okay, is there a reason why? And of course, going back to the education part. Right. So a return on investment, I don't know if I answered that question
Yeah.
carefully there, Dave. It's all about the relationship, and it does keep us from going out of business. And with everything that we do, it's really truly just building that ecosystem.
Yeah. Right. And I did two things from that. I mean, just it's so powerful what you're sharing. First of all, on the ROI, I mean, a mentor had shared with me long ago that not everything of value can be measured, and not everything you can measure is of value. And so there's some things you just know they're the right thing in your heart, and that feels like that's what it is to you, and you're getting a return, whether you can put it on a spreadsheet or not. And then secondly, and I thank you for this. I've really never thought about it this way, that you really have kind of an intimate knowledge of your clients when you take an application. Like, their finances and their family and their credit and all these things about them. And what a gift to reciprocate that by kind of making yourself vulnerable in some ways to invite them into your home and to know you as a person. And that's really powerful. I hadn't thought about it that way. So thank you for that.
My
That's really cool.
pleasure.
And you've talked about some of your partners there that you invite to these events. So I shift gears a little bit into the builder side, which has been a huge part of the conversation for the industry and certainly for our teams over the last year or so. I mean, it always is, but particularly over the last year with the inventory shortage in the market is getting builder business. And I think, I've talked to some folks that look at it as, hey, can I get a flyer for that? Or how would you recommend setting up a meeting? And sure, I mean, those things are important, but my sense from talking to you is that, again, it's a much longer term investment in relationship and credibility. So maybe you could share a little bit about how you've been able to develop builder business, both maintain the relationships you've had, but how do you go about setting up new builder relationships?
I thank you for bringing that up. Builder business aren't easy. It's always from top to bottom, right? Not bottom up. So I've worked with builders before, and I wasn't the preferred lender or anything, but builder business will take a long time to reap that. You have to invest at least a couple of years. And you mentioned about flyers and so forth. Flyers can only go so much too. It's being there for them. And I do have clients that go and purchase new homes, and I keep the relationship with the salespeople. And the salespeople, when you do a great job, of course, they're going to say, you know what, I remember that individual. I remember Fana being able to close on that transaction where our preferred lender couldn't close. And although I don't go out there and advertise, that is a fault of mine, not anything else. But if you have a salesperson that reached out to you and say, hey, you know what? I have a buyer that my preferred lender can't do it. Just, I highly recommend going back out there, visiting them every week or every other week, have lunch with them. That's something that if you want to have builder business, go out there, give them that information, hang out there with them, and offer to make, phone calls on their prospect. Just have that conversation because oftentimes the salesperson in that builder has nothing else to do other than making phone calls and people aren't coming in. So just getting to know them, building that relationship, that's a starter. The other starter is join BIA, Business Industry Association. Join the BIA, volunteer. You're not going to get anything out of it in the beginning, but when you volunteer your time, when people know who you are, they're going to trust you and work with you. That's also a fault of mine too that I haven't done just because, I I prefer my resale versus doing going to the VIA. But if I can have two of me or three of me, I would love to do that. Um, but BIA is a great way to start. And of course, my builder recommended me to go there as well, just because, I didn't, how I came to my builder developer, this is an infill. It isn't through BIA, it isn't through any of this. It's actually through a real estate partners of mine who is friends with this builder. And she wanted to introduce me to her for quite some time, but never really got an opportunity to do so. And when I did, she didn't really, she knew my builder knew who I was, but never really approached me. And I didn't know who she was, but she've always heard about the fact that I work hard, but the hard work and dedication can never be replaced by anything else other than the fact that when I started working with her, this builder of mine, I mean, she is probably one of the hardest working individual I know. And for her to say that, you know what, I thought I work hard, but you work even harder, Fana. So that says a lot. And that relationship flourished. And I think like even now, as my builder is releasing a couple more communities, these aren't 100 lots or anything. They're smaller ones that helps the community out. And this particular builder kind of resonate with what I believe, which is helping the community, helping our first-time home buyers, low to moderate income. It's something that I'm very passionate about. So it really connect us, right? We want to work with those that we like. So for her, whatever it is that my builder need, I always say I will be there for them. Whether it's helping them with brokers open, putting up open house sign, rain or shine, I'm there. So if you're going to want to build that kind of relationship, there's certain things that you really have to dedicate yourself to. Put yourself in their shoes and imagine what are their needs? What are their goals? What are they really passionate about? And you want to make sure that you share that same goal too. And so I did ask my builder, like, you know, for connections to other of their
Right.
friends and so forth, right? So that's one of the things that I'm working on right now. But first things first is to sell. our community, that particular community, so we can move on to the next project. But at the same time, I'm always in connection or stay in touch with the previous community to see what our clients are in need of. I did speak with another client of mine that's in the East Coast, and she moved there, but there's one thing that she really point out, and I think that this is something that I'm going to swipe and adapt, is call them. That 1 year anniversary is super important. Call them up and say, okay, how is your home? Is there anything that needs to be done? Is there anything that you need to replace? Is there any paint job that you need to be done? And that's something, it's investing in your business. Sometimes you have to invest in your business to get more business, and that's part of that ROI, right? And I didn't really talk about that on that aspect, but this is the part where I talk to my builder and say, you know what? We've closed on these lots for a year already. We should reach out to them to see if they're okay with their stove, how's their home warranty? Is their lot done? Is there any needs that they have for us? And that's important, when it comes
Yeah.
to, the builder asking, what can my lender do for me? And the thing is, I wasn't expecting this at all. When I talk to other builders rep, they ask me, okay, what is your builder asking of you as far as marketing? And I just go, my builder isn't asking me for anything other than to do a really good job and making sure that, the clients are taken care of, that we go above and beyond, we find solutions. And at New Res, we have all sorts of solutions for our clients to serve so that we can serve our builder. And it's so impressive for my builder to see that, when they have a delay on their end, but we have our docs, everything all ready, and then we keep on extending their locks, and then we're like, "Oh my gosh, when is this closing?" And then right away when they got their deed, and then we are able to fund right away and have it recorded at that same time, even though we had a 2 weeks delay, it makes their life a lot easier. She was just so impressed. It's like, "Okay, this is the reason why we have you as our preferred lender." And no marketing, nothing is involved other than the fact that I give it my all to my builder and making sure
I
that they
just
can sell their lots.
Yeah, I just love that because it's a paradigm shift, right? It's not like you're approaching the builder relationship as a lead source. It's a long-term relationship that you worked hard to establish, that you're on the team of like I said, putting out signs, helping them with luncheons or whatever they're going to do on site for the open houses, and then you're calling them a year later, customers, helping them call and check in. That's just such a powerful statement about the team and truly like a relationship. It's more than a business. So
Yes.
that's amazing. So, look, we've talked about a lot of different sources of business, and to that end, I know you're excited about the fact that we are launching our newest iteration, or our kind of our first iteration of financial services cloud Salesforce for our retail team in the next couple of weeks, and we're excited about this for the team, what it can do for our relationships, what it can do for our sales efficiency, what it's going to do for the production of our team members. And all that said, we've based so much of it on what you and Peter, your husband, have done in building your system. I mean, we went to a lot of effort as a company to really study what was working with our highest producers, and obviously you're one of those folks. And so we're going to talk a little bit about Salesforce and customer relationship management, also shorthand of CRM. So we've talked about how much you use that in your business, but maybe you can share what it really does mean to you day to day.
The customer relationship management CRM plays a huge role in my business because it create a lot of, efficiency. So my team would completely be lost without the CRM. I know that sometime or oftentimes people just use their Excel or Google sheet, right? They're like, if it's working, if it's not broken, why fix it? Well, you know what you know, right? And for me, it was the CRM is definitely an efficiency, more of an efficiency. And also as we branch out to other different ways of communicating, because people communicate in very various ways. Like I, my social media, which is like kind of crazy that my clients who have my cell phone number, my email address, and everything, but they wouldn't communicate with me via that, but they just ping me or message
Yeah.
me on social media, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, now I have to check my social media every day just so I can see, oh, okay, who needs an equity line?" And I literally
Right.
got my past clients ping me and say, "Hey, Fana, I need to consolidate my bills. How can I do this? I want to get a second because so now I have to constantly check on it. But with CRM, it is extremely important. Like, my business wouldn't be where it's at without the CRM. I mean, it's so robust to the point it's not going to be compared to FSC. Okay. This is a very simple, I just need to know what my dashboard looks like. I just need to know what are my close of escrow for this month. What did I do my year to date? Who has been providing me with, their business? Who do I need to focus on? And with my CRM, it's, it has all of the information that I need to pull up, and birthdays, which I do every day. I pull up my report, birthday this month, call them up. Imagine, can you do that on your Google Sheet? I mean, if you have like 1,000 clients, are you going to be able to pull that, right? And does it notify you? I don't think so. Um, so those are super important. You uh, rate the refinance portion of it. This is a great opportunity. So I have those report and I have my team pull those report up for me. I just have them pull it up once a month just so that I can have enough time to work. And with the way the market is, it changes rapidly.
Right.
It's really hard to work on those things. But I can't stress enough about the CRM. Like, use it. Make sure you build it according to how your business flow is. I know that my business flow is very different than Danny, than Don, than Jason, and everybody else, but it works for me. And the communication, the one thing that I would say about prospecting and getting more business is making sure that when you are in that transaction, communicate as much as you can possibly can, not only to your client, but to your agent and the listing agent. Now, I depend so much on my CRM with the emails and everything that I don't make that phone call, but they know who I am. And
Right.
I take it for granted, but they just goes, "Oh, I love your communication. I know exactly what happened every single step of the way." And I update them at least twice a week. How can you not know that your transaction is not closing, right? Or your transaction is closing. And sometimes they go, "Oh my gosh, we're not prepared for you to close. Let us do this termite first." And I said, "Okay, that's perfectly fine. Let us know when it's done, and then we'll get the loan docs. And just so you know, we wet fund, so we can send the loan docs out and have the wire." And then they're like, "Oh, you can do that?" So these are the kinds of things that a lot of real estate agents are not aware of what Newrez can do. And we can't just keep, that's our secret sauce, but we can't keep that as a secret. But the CRM um, is a way to go. I mean, my team would probably be lost without our CRM right now because
Yeah.
there's tasks everywhere. We have close of escrow date, lock expiration dates, everything. And I do keep track of how long does my team takes from, escrow to close. How long do we take from the time that we receive our purchase contract to us disclosing, and how long does it take for this escrow company to give us fees in order for us to disclose, and so forth. Those are the kinds of things that we keep track of, and I always try to find a way to improve our process. And that's the best part about CRM is, okay, so our underwriting is taking 48 hours. Crazy, right? So, how do we tweak it? How do we work our file? It's not about our operation anymore. It's about, okay, why is it taking so long for us to work on the front end? What is it that we can do in order for us to improve? And then when our underwriter receive our file, why does it take this long to underwrite? Is it underwriting turn time, or is our file not clean enough, right? So I always want to make sure that, okay, let's think about what is our underwriter going to ask? Thank goodness I have a dedicated underwriters. I have dedicated underwriters for me, so I know exactly what they're going to be looking for. So my team would always get everything in, and then our file usually comes out super clean. And that's one of the reasons why we are able to close super fast. Our customer experience is amazing because we handle everything up front. Now, sometime we go, gosh, our client goes, my gosh, Fana, you asked so much. Well, there's a reason why we ask for all of that, right? Because we want to make sure that everything goes smoothly at the end. I just try to make sure we were very intentional, but at the same time, we also want to make sure that our clients have the best experience ever, whether they're buying a $400,000 condo or a $3 million home. We want to make sure that they receive those services from us. Mhm.
Yeah. And I think, one of the things that makes you and so many great salespeople special and to stand out is being able to be a hero sometimes. And so, when I think about what we're rolling out with our CRM, it's also the ability to bring everything into one dashboard where you can see it all. And one of the things that we haven't talked about yet is the fact that Newrez retains servicing. And so we have, over 4 million customers that we service. And so, look, when you have that many clients and it's a complex system, sometimes things are going to go wrong, or customers are going to have questions. And I know, you've had several experiences where I've seen that the customer is able to call you directly, and that gives them peace of mind. And to your point earlier in the call, you have access to go get the answer for them. And as we roll out Salesforce, it'll have a direct kind of pane of glass where you'll be able to see more of that information and help them more readily. So, um, any thoughts on that as far as how servicing has helped you in growing your business?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, some people don't realize that having servicing ability put so much value in your business. And that's what I talk about a lot of time when I'm with clients nowadays. But even going back to customer service, I mean, if your client call you up and you inform your client like, you know what, Dave, I'm not sure. Let me call someone else or let me check or I don't have a solution for you. That client is not coming back to you. I am a true believer in that because that's what I experienced in the previous company where servicing wasn't with us and clients aren't, um, when especially in California, when we have supplemental taxes and insurance cancellation, and the clients is already frustrated because they call servicing up and they're an hour hold or 2 hours hold, and then now they're reaching out to you and you can't help them. That is where your business is going to go. So for me, I'm just so blessed being able to have access to everything. Like I want to make sure that our CRM have everything that you just mentioned to me. My CRM is super simple, but it does do the things that I want. It emails, it doesn't make phone calls, but it does do the texting and everything because we have many ways of communicating with our client. But the fact that we have everything at the tip of our fingers really helps us with our customer. Now,
Yeah.
my past clients know who to call, but I also have servicing MSR coming from our new res servicing department that clients have my name, my picture and my contact info on their mortgage statement. They'll reach out to me and that's a client that I can potentially refinance or do their purchase or do a second for them. And that's where some of my business are coming from and I'm just so blessed to be able to have that ability or that opportunity to serve those clients. It's all about the connection. It's but at least they feel comfortable that okay, there is a live person. There is someone there that can actually help me. So that is extremely important.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. One question, Fanny, like we said, we've learned a lot from other people in our industry and in our personal lives. And I read a lot to try to, learn more about people and how I can get better. I'm just curious from your perspective, is there any one leader you've ever worked with that's had a particular impact on you, or, someone from history or whatever that you tend to kind of model your success with?
Gosh, Dave, that's hard. If I say someone else, you're going to be offended. No, I'm just kidding.
I won't do
Everyone I have come across has played so like they are so important. They play a huge role in my career, in my life. There isn't one, Dave. It's really hard for me, but I have to go back to the beginning of my career because that's where it all started. I was a bio and chemistry major, so I had nothing. I know nothing about mortgage. I know nothing about sales. And I worked at a call center, and this manager of mine, his name is Ronald Cooper. I don't know where he is, and that's really bad of me. But he really helped kind of pave the way to this sales side of me. And he would sit me down and say, Fana, I know that this is not something that you have done before, but I need you to sit and listen to all the sales calls for at least a month, and I need you to take notes. And that right there was the beginning of it all because, coming from college, you're sitting in a lecture hall and your professor is
Yeah.
going over everything so quickly. And it's not like we have our cell phone where we record the lecture. We're talking about the little tiny tape, Dave,
Yeah.
the recording. And
Yeah.
I would
Yep.
just be sitting there recording every conversation, and every conversation after late at night at 7, 8 o'clock at night, I would be just jotting down all the notes and everything, highlight everything, and studying everything. So, having that training with Ron for a 2 month time frame was really how it opened my eyes to this world of mortgage. So, if
Yeah.
anyone, I think that he was the beginning of it all for me.
Right, Ron, reach out. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I have kids that are just getting out of college myself, and uh, so I see their friends that are getting into the world right now, and I feel like, so much of the work from home, it cheats them in some ways of what they could be learning. Because, like yourself, I started in a call center kind of environment early in my career, and you hear so much of what other people are doing, and it's like this learning accelerant that's going on. And so I can totally see that. Well, and look, we've talked a lot about purchase and refinance, which is, that's the world we live in. How do you wake up every day excited about what you do? How do you get yourself motivated, whether it's a down market or motivated maybe when you're exhausted in an up market and it just won't stop, like during COVID? I mean, what's your mindset? Do you have any tricks that you use to stay on your game?
I always look back to, my number one um motto is, be grateful for
Yeah.
everything, right? Like, be grateful that you have the ability to wake up in the morning and take that one breath, right? So just for me, it is just the gratitude, just being there. And I have my kids, who is my truly my motivation. I have my clients, my business partners. I look at it and say, you know what? I am here for the sole purpose is to help others achieve their goals.
Mhm.
So when my business partner calls me and ask me questions or provide me with a lead or trying to find a solution, I want to be there, and that is my purpose. And then my clients, they call me so that because they need help. I always tell clients, I say, you are here. I'm here for you. Whatever it is that you need, I'm here as your problem solver or to find a solution for you. Now, I will tell you that if there isn't a solution, we are going to have action plans for you to follow and make sure that we will get there. I want you to know that I'm here to help you meet your goals. I look at everything on a daily basis as an opportunity for me.
Yeah.
So that opportunity doesn't always come along, right? And if I am not there and be there for my clients, my business partners, my family, then where would I be, right? I truly am blessed to be in this industry, and I am truly blessed with those that surrounds me, and I want to make sure that they know that they are important to me, even though, we only have a really short time span with each other, but I want to make sure that every day I'm grateful for everyone that I've come in contact with.
That's awesome. Well, I love the fact that we started and we're starting to close out on the topic of gratitude, because I think you and I are aligned that that's really the foundation of a happy life, but also a successful career and relationships with others. So, as we round it out, Fana, this is something that I think about a lot of how do we develop the next generation of amazing team members and whatever capacity of Newrez. And so when you look back on your career and all the great things that you've accomplished and all the things that you've learned from, is there one or two things that if somebody's just getting started in the industry or thinking about getting into the industry that you would point to and say, these are the keys to success, or this is what I might have done differently if I were starting over today?
Oh, absolutely. I wish I know what I know. I know what I knew what I know now with regard to CRM. It is extremely important. I didn't have a podcast or a YouTube to listen to. Of course, we're not going to go back to when I started, right? But I definitely recommend having a CRM, what we talked about as far as communicate, 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 stay connected. Number 2 is invest in yourself, and investing in yourself isn't, buying stuff or anything, but invest in yourself, invest in your business. Get a coaching. Like, I'm not, you know, there are so many different coaches out there, but for me, what works for me is high trust selling with Todd Duncan, who is more of a relationship coach versus a structural. Now you have to have both, but you don't have to adapt to just one. I like I started with Todd Duncan as with high trust selling, knowing what knowing your value and knowing what your client and your business partner's needs are is extremely important. Be selfless, right? It's not all about you. It's about what is it that other needs are,
Right.
right? Now, having that relationship business is amazing, but you also have to have a structure of how you're going to work this business. I struggles for so many years trying to figure out how I should be running my business. And the core is another coaching that I went through as well. And the core really gives me the structure in terms of how I build my business or how to isolate duties and responsibilities of team members. So
Mhm.
invest in your business, and that's through coaching. The other thing that I really wanted to point out is, going back to the selfless, don't think about your business as, gosh, I got to make this much money. I got to do this. I got to do this. Pay attention to those that are willing to teach you and guide you through this process, because I have been a mentor for several different mentees. And I wish I had a mentor that would guide me through and show me the way, and I would give my free time to you. Let's just say, Dave, you're my mentor, and I'll be like, Dave, I need to learn this. I need to know more. Can you teach me? And I'll be fine. I'll give you 20 hours of my time a day and just
Right.
teach me everything. So be a student at all time, and I'm always learning too. And but I've ran into mentees that, you know that the passion isn't really quite there, but if you
Right.
are really passionate about helping others, this is definitely one avenue of helping others to build wealth and generation wealth, creating family nucleus here, and just learn and just focus on who you can help versus
Yeah.
you. yourself, right? Like the sacrifice that you make now to learn everything is going to pay off in the future. And I know that in the beginning I was crying, I was doing all that I can possibly can to to do what is best. And I've always been one that want to excel and always want to be first. But I know I was never given the opportunity to or someone to guide me and say, okay, go and read your underwriting guideline, understand that, and then you can problem solve everything. But I'm always asking questions, and I get into trouble because I would run to, different places to find a different answer, but not having to go back and reading that underwriting guidelines or the selling guide. So learn, be a student.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, gosh, I could not agree more. And I think it's one of the things that gets me so excited every day about this business and the opportunity I have to talk to people like yourself every day is that I learn something new before 8 a.m. every day about this business and what we can do. And it just keeps going all day. And so I think that is a way to make ourselves better and also to build that passion that you talk about, because I don't think you can be great at anything in life if you're not passionate about it. And I at least find that one of the ways that I stay passionate is that I keep learning and meeting people who will help me and feed that passion. And I think, to your point, there's just so many people in this business, and I'm sure there is in every business, but I know that I've found it throughout my career, people who are willing to help, they want to help. And so, finding those people and then keeping those relationships. I can literally go back to the first job I ever had as a loan officer, the first company, and I've got a friend still from that company. And every place I've ever been, I've met people that have just stayed with me throughout my life. And I still talk to them and learn things from them about what they're doing. So Phana, we've talked about your individual success as a loan consultant and helping people throughout your area achieve the American dream of home ownership. But it's not just you; it's a full team. So maybe you could talk a little bit about your leadership and how you help support a team to be the best that they can every day.
Oh, I have an amazing team, Dave. As a sales manager, I truly believe that in order for me to be successful, you have to have a great team behind you. And that great team, I have my production manager, Sylvia, and then, of course, my LP1, Johnny, who helps me throughout the entire process. I take pride in what I do. So typically, when my business partners refer me, their client or the client's calling me, first thing I do, and I know that part of that training or coaching is that you have to let your team do the work. But the one thing that I cannot give up, and it goes back to the relationship portion of it, Dave, is I want to build that relationship with my client. I want to be able to understand what my clients are looking for and what their goals are. I can't pass that along to my team members, even though they are amazing. I can trust them with everything, but the first thing that I do is making sure that I understand my client's dynamic before I connect them with my team. And once it goes to my team members, Sylvia handles a lot of the things that we typically do from escrow to close. Johnny, who is my LP1, help gather documents and making sure that we have everything in the beginning so that when my clients go into escrow, we close in 10 to 21 days and it's a smooth transaction. Customer experience is there, connecting with our agents and our business partners is there. So, you know, operation wise, I mean, we talked about how great our operation is, and that is a smooth selling process for me when it comes
Yeah.
to my team.
Yeah, and I think, from observing your team over the years, one of the things that just stands out, and you kind of spoke to it there, is that everybody knows their role, the specific thing that they need to do really well. And whether it's through our customer relationship management system or other systems, everybody's aligned. So it all fits together perfectly to create that. It's a seamless kind of experience for the customer, which is really what they're looking for. So um, that's awesome on the leadership side. And, I just want to ask you as well, we've talked about connection, and obviously you and I speak regularly. What if people wanted to reach you to learn more? What's the best way? Would be it online or over social media? What are the ways to learn more and connect with Fana?
Well, all kinds of stuff, Dave. This is the part that I like the most, right? And this is where my alert just goes on. My antenna has to go out in different aspects. I always tell client, I go, gosh, Google me. Phana Par or the Phana Par Group. Just Google me. Check me out on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, um, X, Twitter. But if you Google me, you'll be able to see all of my testimonials, all of my wonderful videos that I put together from our past events that we put for our
Right.
clients. And that's the time that I get to brag about my clients and their accomplishment. So email fana.par@newrez.com. That's always the best. And I do have my team email that I use, and this is the part where the communication is super important. If I am not in the office, my team members can respond back to the email at any given time. The Phana Par Group at newrez.com. We're here from 7 in the morning until, for me, probably 8, 9 o'clock at night. So there's always someone that's going to respond to any request that's out there. So we're available to help our clients and our business partners to achieve their goals.
I love it. I love it. And for anyone who's interested in learning more about Newrez or has any kind of request, the same goes for me. I'm on LinkedIn as David Schroeder. We'd love to hear from you and share more of what's going on here at Newrez and how we can help you. Boy, what an amazing time with you, Phana. Thank you so much. This is our first episode again of Newrez Voices. We're going to hopefully have many more conversations like this with people across Newrez, with partners and people who can help with our business and grow in this industry. And so, Phana, again, I thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, you know what? I am very thankful to you, Dave and Newrez, for having me on as your first series. I really truly appreciate it. And there's just so much to uncover, but this is we have limited time and I'm like all over the place because I just love doing what I do, and I wish I can extract everything that I'm thinking of. And Peter always tell me, don't think so much, just say as it is. And but I'm always willing to help. I'm here. And yes, we're all busy, but at the same time, I think that our industry really needs some new blood and just knock it out of the ballpark. I mean, it is an interesting business, but it's a rewarding business. You get to help family, you get to put family into their home, you get to help them meet and achieve their goals. And I can always say that, I'm going somewhere after this, right? Like with the many family that I'm
That's right.
helping.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's end it on the note that we've hit so many times today, and that is gratitude to you, Fana. Thank you so much for your time. And we'll see everybody on the next episode of Newrez Voices. See y'all.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
All
Take
right.
care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.